A reporter asked Mother Teresa one time, "Don't you think that what you do for the poor is a drop in the bucket?" I can't imagine anybody asking Mother Teresa that. Mother Teresa said without hesitating, "No, what I do is a drop in the ocean, but if I didn't do it, it'd be one less drop." I can't imagine anybody saying that to Mother Teresa. We've heard a lot of stories about Mother Teresa over the years. I have my own stories. I had the great fortune of knowing her, being with her a number of times. First time I met her was in Calcutta, and I went downtown with her in a very densely populated area of Calcutta, and people were living on top of one another, and there was a man lying in the street right before me, right where this first row is, and he looked half dead to me. And she went, got some men to pick him up, took him back to her hospice, and like she did with almost everybody, she washed him off, and she hugged him, she whispered in his ear, and she really brought him back to life. She came back to me later in the afternoon. She grabbed my hand and she said to me, "Congressman, you know, not everybody can come to Calcutta like you. What I want you to do is go back home and tell everybody to do the thing that's in front of you." And what she was kind of saying is, if everybody did the thing that's in front of them, everybody took care of their neighbor, we probably wouldn't need half the stuff that governments do in the world, because people would be taking care of the problem in front of them. So what's in front of us? What's in front of us as far as hunger today in this world, even in our own country? Well, in this world today, as far as hunger is concerned, there'll be 21,000 people that will die. And they'll die of hunger and hunger-related deaths. And that's a death every 4 seconds in this world. Somebody dies from hunger. That's unbelievable. There's at least 1 billion people in this world today that are starving. And even in our own country, in America, there's 48 million people that are hungry. Now, it's not the type of hunger in America that we have, let's say, in Sudan, Ethiopia, or North Korea. People are not dropping dead here in America, but they are hungry, they are malnourished. These 48 million people are women and children, senior citizens that are going to bed 2 or 3 days out of every month without food. They are people that, you know, they're not making it. They're maybe making $8, $9, $10 an hour. By the time they get done paying their rent, their daycare bill, their utility bill, they run out of money. And they have to go to food banks and soup kitchens or wherever they can find food. And those are the 48 million people. We have a problem. I got involved in this issue about 35 years ago. I was in Congress at the time, and after a couple years of being in Congress, I became chairman of the Select Committee on Hunger, and it was my job to travel around to different countries, different developing nations, poor nations that were having problems, and report back to Congress what I was seeing, in hopes that Congress would do something about it, in hopes that we could make a difference. And we did. We made a lot of difference. And the first place I went to was Ethiopia, and Ethiopia was having a great famine in those days. This was 1984. And the famine turned into civil war, and I was visiting a place up country from the capital, about 2 hours by light plane, and again I was visiting a place that was handled and run by Mother Teresa's group, Sisters of Charity. And this clinic was on a high plateau in a very rural area. The clinic was no bigger than maybe this stage, and there were 2 nuns there, that was it. But people were running for their lives because there was a civil war and famine, and they thought at this clinic there might be food and medicines and blankets because it was high. Even though it was on the equator, it was still high, very cold at night. And when I got there, there were thousands of people at this little clinic lined up. And before I could get in the door, people were lying on the ground, moaning. One lady handed me her baby. The baby was dead. And I think she thought I was a doctor, that maybe by touching her baby, I could bring this baby back to life. As I walked among these people, I saw 25 children die within 15 minutes. I had to put my sunglasses on. My eyes were just fogged over, cloudy with tears. I didn't want these people to see that I could barely see. I was taken back by it. I was stunned. I have never forgotten that image. I think about it all the time. I came back from that trip as I was flying back thinking, you know, we do a lot of things in Congress that don't amount to much. We waste a lot of time. I thought, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be involved in this issue. I am going to legislate. I'm going to travel the world. I'm going to get involved in my district. I'm going to start programs. I'm going to pass laws. And we did. The New York Times called my committee the conscience of the Congress, and we passed a lot of legislation on food security and pickup of food and microcredit for women and school feeding and immunization of children and lots of good stuff. And just about the time when I thought, this is the greatest committee in the world, we are really doing some major work, Congress eliminated my committee. Can you believe it? They eliminated my committee because they said that we have high deficits and therefore we need to cut back on some of our programs, and we are going to tell the American people that we're going to give the money back to the American people and we'll look good in the eyes of the American people. And they kept the money. They lied. They eliminated my committee. I didn't know what to do. Going home that night, I was pounding on my steering wheel. I was so mad. I didn't know what I was going to do. I got home. I said to my wife, Jan, I said, you know, I think I'm going to quit Congress. I said, you know, these men and women, they don't care about the issue that I care about. The poor, they don't have much of a voice up here. The poor, they don't have campaign funds. They're not the greatest voters in the world. They don't get in to see congressmen and senators. Nobody's listening. They eliminated the only committee that deals with this issue of hunger and poverty. What do you think? She said, did you ever think about fasting? I'm thinking, my wife, what's going on here? Fasting. She said, I just read this amazing chapter in the Old Testament on fasting, which is a great chapter in Isaiah 58, and you can read it on the screen, what it says. And so we read it, we prayed, and we talked. And within the next couple days, I went on this fast in the Congress, and the Congress, for the most part, thought I was silly, crazy. Why would a congressman ever do this? Nobody in the Congress has ever done this ever before. But apparently, the people in the country didn't think it was silly because 10,000 high schools fasted with me. 200 universities fasted. And I fasted for 22 days. I didn't drink any fruit juice or anything like that. I just drank water. I announced to the Congress that I am going to fast. I am not going to eat until something good happens. I'm sick and tired of you people not caring about the poor, and the hungry. And I am going to fast. I don't know how long it's going to be, 10, 15. I didn't know how long I was going to fast. I fasted for 22 days, but I am going to fast until something good happens. And all these good things started to happen. The press began to write about it in very good terms, and New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal, the Los Angeles Times, the networks, they began to really, and the editorials, they began to write in very glowing terms. And the Congress, they didn't know what to think because they all had deserted me thinking, this guy is silly, he's crazy. But the rest of the country didn't think so. And I'm losing weight like you can't believe. And so many good things happen. But the thing that really got me to quit the fast was the World Bank, which is the largest development bank in the world. They called me. It's a multi-billion-dollar bank. And they called me and they said, look, Tony, we have been reading about you. We've been reading about this fast in all the papers, and we're thrilled and excited about it. We want you to come and make a speech. We're going to invite some heads of state. Jimmy Carter's coming, the Secretary General of the UN. We're inviting a lot of people. And if you come and make a good speech, maybe we'll put some resources towards you. We want you to speak about your fast. So I came. I don't know if I made a good speech, but they committed $100 million to the fast. I didn't look so silly anymore, thank God. It was a great success, and I ended the fast. I did the thing that was in front of me, and it worked. It even surprised me. One fast. Today, in Dayton, Ohio, my community, your community, we have a problem here. We lost 40,000 manufacturing jobs here in the last few years, and we got hit real hard with this recession. And we have a hunger problem. A year ago, I was reading in the Dayton Daily News that we are the 4th hungriest city in the country. The 4th hungriest city in the country. But we're going to change that because we got good people here. We're going to collaborate. We're going to do the thing that's in front of us. We're going to bring the city back to where it used to be. We're going to really, really feed people because we know what to do. We know how to do this. Look at the person on your right. Look at the person on your left. What if each one of us, just in this theater here, did one drop? We got maybe 1,200 seats here. What if we fed one family tonight? What if we took care of our neighbor tonight? What if we fed one family for a week, maybe 6 months? What if we did that just in this theater right here? That's 1,200 seats, 1,200 drops. That's a river of drops. A river of drops. Pretty soon, it's an ocean. Pretty soon, not only would we change this community, we'd change this world. Do the thing that's in front of you. Thank you.
TEDxDayton 2016